Yo, what's up, peeps? This is Shelvon with Gaming and Culture Television. The demise of the superhero movie has been talked about ad nauseum, and Variety has an article called Super Burnout, so I thought I'd check it out. All right, let's get into this. Per Variety magazine, Super Burnout. With most superhero movies flopping, can Marvel and DC's 2025 slates reverse the unprecedented box office drought? Well, they could first start by not making crap that nobody wants to see or insulting their audience, and that's essentially what the Joker did. Deadpool, which did not insult their audience, did fine, did actually very well. I don't know what's up with Venom, so maybe they talk about it a little bit. Sony Pictures billed Venom: The Last Dance as the final chapter in Tom Hardy's alien symbiote buddy comedy franchise, but with its 51 million domestic opening weekend, 44 and 55% lower than the previous two installments. The movie also signifies the continued twilight of superhero cinema as the dominant force in the box office. Superhero movies used to be the indispensable revenue driver for the film industry. Yeah, when they were actually making entertaining movies that were not preaching to its audience. They started preaching to their audiences, and that was the case for both DC and Marvel, and this is where we're at. Superhero movies used to be, I already said that. In 2018 and 2019, the average global gross for superhero fare was more than $1 billion. This year's half that, even with record-breaking success such as Deadpool and Wolverine. In fact, the Ryan Reynolds Hugh Jackman vehicle was the only comic book movie that could qualify as a hit since Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse debuted in 2023 June. Since then, the genre has suffered extraordinarily box office drought, film after film, from The Flash to the Marvel's Madam Web, open to at best a shrug and at worst an outright rejection. The Flash was overbloated, long. People really didn't like Ezra Miller. You probably should have swapped him out because people didn't really like him in the Justice League. So if you probably would have got Grant Austin, the TV Flash, that might have worked better. The movie was not good. You wasted having Michael Keaton in it. He's in it for like 20 minutes maybe. So that's why that failed. The Marvels. The only reason the first one did well was because where it was placed, and people got the impression that you needed to watch it in order to understand what was going to happen in Endgame. And once you saw the movie, you realized that you did not need to watch it like at all, and they knew that. Hence the reason why they completely changed the basis of the movie by adding two other characters, because they knew that she couldn't Captain Marvel the character by itself could not hold a movie like that. Failed in the comics. I'm not sure why they tried to shoehorn her into. No, I do understand why they tried to shoehorn her into the MCU. It's the thing that I'm saying to all my friends. It's just basically, dude, people want to give you money. Let them give you money. Stop giving them stuff that they don't want to give you money for. All right, Madam Web. I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, because I didn't even pay attention to that. All right. Joker Foley Aduz is on track to earn the ignominious distinction of making the less than its entire box office run in the predecessor's 248.4 million global opening weekend. Oh, okay. It's making less than its in its entire box office run than its predecessor's opening weekend. Yeah, you made basically you made a movie that insults the fan base. How about we ignore the fact that you are making crap that nobody wants to watch? So you're expecting people to come watch these things. They don't watch these things, and then you're flabbergasted as to why you are making money or not making money. The reason for the drop in the box office performance varied from film to film. DC's output was hampered by a scandal and the knowledge that the franchise was rebooting under new leadership. Marvel had oversaturated the market with its Disney Plus shows and was already in the process of dialing back. Yeah, in that the Spider-Man movie made almost $2 billion. So it has nothing to do with oversaturation. So because if everything that you did on Disney Plus was actually good, people would have loved it. It's just when you like something, you want more of it. So it's not oversaturation. It is, most of the stuff on Disney Plus was crap. Most of the movies that they were putting out were crap. Again, they were preaching to their audience, and the audience got tired of listening to them do that. Simple. Sony was trying to build a universe of live action Spider-Man characters without Spider-Man. The overall impact, however, has been unmistakably depreciation of the genre's commercial might. Yeah. They were picking less characters, changing the characters. Madam Web is an older lady in the comic books and is associated with the Fantastic Four. You don't have the Fantastic Four. You made her a young woman, decided to put it in the 90s for some reason, where her character is not what she, I don't know. I guess at the end, you can say that she was in the state that she would be when she meets Spider-Man, I guess, in the Fantastic Four. Does she? Oh no, maybe I'm thinking of another character. No, that's Agatha, who's attached to. Oh, my bad. But it's the same thing. It's like you change these characters around, so that means that when you do that, you don't attract the actual fan base, and the normies will have no idea who that is. And the normies are the vast majority of people. So the commercials doesn't signify that this is a good movie, and this is where we're at. Okay. These stiff financial headwinds place an almost existential pressure on the 2025 superhero slate to deliver, after opening just Deadpool and Wolverine in 2024. Marvel Studios is ramping up 3 films: Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and the Fantastic Four. Captain America is not going to be a good movie. Because one, you should have made that a Falcon movie, because that's basically what it is. He's not Captain America. Captain America is Steve Rogers. I don't care who you put the suit on or whatever you do, it's Steve Rogers. So you making a Captain America movie without Steve Rogers and then it's tied into a TV show that most people did not watch, and people who did watch got to see a subpar television show that centered around Black Lives Matter after Black Lives Matter was starting to lose its shine. So just like that's why you should not try to touch on, well, not touch, you can touch on it, but not focus on current day events. That just dates your product. So by the time your product gets out, where that particular topic in the zeitgeist of everyone could be way less than it was before. So now you got a product that's tied to something that nobody talks about anymore. That's why you shouldn't do that. That is why you try to create something that focuses on more universal truths kind of thing, so that it's timeless. All right. Marvel Studios is wrapping back up at 3. Oh, okay. Yeah. And I think they got that a little bit by how they casted the Fantastic Four. I guess it was as straight up as Marvel can get nowadays. I mean, it's still not comic book accurate, but it's closer than what most people thought that they were going to do. There were no slam dunks here. Exhibitor relations analyst Jeff Bach. There's still a lot of goodwill for Marvel, and it's still the biggest show in town. But I think that these are going to think that these are going to do Deadpool and Wolverine business, I just don't see that for any of these films. Significant factor facing Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts is how much they rely on characters and plot lines from several earlier MCU titles, including Disney Plus shows. Like I said, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, and feature films Black Widow, Eternals, and Man in the West, Captain America 4, even 2008's Incredible Hulk. Right. So again, you make your $1 billion because you attracted normies to see your product. Normies don't watch these things. Eternals nobody watched. Black Widow nobody watched. People barely remember Ant-Man and the Wasp, and nobody watched the Hawkeye show. Nobody watched the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if your storyline is wrapped up in all that, your average person when he goes to see this is not going to understand what's going on. Right, having Harrison Ford in your movie will help. So he get to be Harrison Ford, turning into a Red Hulk. What his character's issue with the rest of the MCU, most people will not know that. It is a simple fact. So I don't know. I'm probably at some point may check it out. I don't know if I'm going to check it out in the theaters or wait for it to come out on digital or whatever. That interconnectivity has been an advantage for Marvel Studios from its inception. Yeah, the interconnectivity between the movies. Once you start doing television shows, this is the main reason why the Netflix show and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. basically wasn't the driving force of that interconnectivity. They basically reacted to what happened. So the Netflix shows, they took place after the events of the first Avengers movie, and they referenced that happening in the city. But it didn't affect what happened in the movies because they were tertiary characters. They weren't even secondary characters. They were tertiary characters that just existed in that world. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. basically was their product was affected by what happened in the movies, not the other way around. And for whatever reason, Kevin Feige decided to flip that and have the TV shows push the plot for the movies. I was like, well, that is completely dependent on people actually watching the television shows, which they did. The Fantastic Four, by contrast, is set in an alternative timeline, allowing for the film to mark a fresh way forward that its insiders say has energized the studio. His characters are scarcely more important to the Marvel comics universe. They are called its characters could scarcely be more. Said that wrong. Its characters could scarcely be more important to the Marvel comics universe. They're called Marvel's First Family for a reason. But two separate attempts, the 20th Century Fox and the 2000 and 2010s, could make them into marquee stars that never caught to make them into marquee stars never caught fire. The first one, the Marvel universe was not where it was at as it is now. I actually enjoyed those 10 story ones because they were about as close as you can get to being mostly comic book accurate in terms of how it looked, because the Fantastic Four is not they're a superhero team, but they don't fight crime per se. They actually go on adventures. So that is the idea of the first one, the one they made, the Fan Fort Stick or whatever that was, where they race changed people and they did other things. That was loosely based on the ultimate version of the Fantastic Four. And if they would have actually did the story from the ultimate version of the Fantastic Four, I think that would have worked out better. But they didn't, or they took aspects of it and kind of bastardized it. Hence the reason why it failed, because you couldn't attract the normies, and you turned off the actual fan base. Marvel still can't afford for that to happen again. Robert Downey Jr. is already set to return as the team arch nemesis Doctor Doom for Doomsday and the Secret Wars, who will be directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, who did the Avengers stuff. And then they show a cinema from 2015 to 2024. How that is going down with different look at these numbers. I don't know why they decided to do Blue Beetle. Aquaman didn't do that well. Madam Web, Joker, Venom. So this is like the last few movies. Shazam didn't do well. Ant-Man, it's kind of the same thing, man. It's like, so these are exceptions. Like the Batman, Morbius did terrible. Doctor Strange did like half of what they did. Or yeah, it's you can kind of tell where they shifted from. Yeah, so this is kind of where they shifted from how they did things normally, and then it just down. It's like every time they change stuff, like the New Mutants, nobody talks about that like at all. This was around COVID, I think. Wonder Woman, they changed the story. Black Widow was because of so it was like half online, half on in the theaters kind of thing. Suicide Squad, yeah, it's just when they just change how they do. Nobody wanted to see this. Then you have like your exceptions, Spider-Man. All right, Fantastic Four has to perform better than Captain America because they want to ramp up into a couple Avengers films back to back. Okay, so it just kind of get into, yeah, it's just the bottom line of this. And I'm not gonna, if I put a link to the article so you can finish the rest of it. The bottom line is give people what they want to watch. It's basic capitalism. Make a product people want, or even make if you're lucky, you can make a product people don't know that they want, and then it's something new, and then and it's basically what the Marvel universe kind of was, where it's like once you started connecting all these stories, it was not something that was done before, but it was more new because they're doing it with superheroes, and it felt more like the comics was, if you understand what I'm saying. But give people what they want. Like you can no longer just make stuff just to make stuff. Those days are gone. Maybe they'll come back at some point when we're as a country doing better, but right now that is not the thing. Like I said, I will link the rest of this article because it just kind of gets into the minutia of the stuff that's coming out and what this analyst thought, from Spider-Man to yada yada yada. So, all right, please like, share, and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Please give me a comment or two, and tell me what you think. All right, later.